Boom, boom, boom. Somebody gonna lie today. Somebody gonna lie today. Somebody gonna lie today. BLM. Hey. Somebody gonna lie today. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the Black Podcast. I am your host, HB from KC. If you are watching via YouTube, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. If you're listening via a digital platform like Anchor, Spotify, Apple, thank you guys as well. Make sure you are liking and giving like 5 stars. Make your girl look good, okay? Make your girl look good. Today's topic, this is a hard one for me. It may be a little everywhere, but this one pierces me to my core that it's even happening. It's Black #I stand with the mothers. Now, in my last episode, I let you know if you do not have a Twitter, you need to get one. #I stand with the mothers is so important right now, and I am a full supporter. The Black Podcast is in full support of this topic and what we're talking about today. If you have not seen, 2 of the mothers that have had their children unnecessarily murdered by the police spoke out, I'd say probably about 2 weeks ago now. The first, Michelle Kinney, mother of Antoine Rose Jr., and also Samaria Rice, mother of 12-year-old Tamir Rice. They spoke out, and it was following Lil Baby's Grammy performance. If you haven't seen it, you can YouTube that as well. People are calling it powerful. I didn't find it to be powerful. I didn't see where the power was. It was really just a depiction of a young Black man getting shot again. This time, why do I say this time? On a national white platform again. So it's tiresome and it's tiring just from that perspective. I did not enjoy the performance. I don't blame Lil Baby for that because I think Lil Baby's heart was in the right place with the song that he was doing and the lyrics and the choreo and just everything. The whole performance, I think Lil Baby's heart was in the right place. I genuinely do not think he realized he was being used by white people. The young man, I think his name is Nathan. He's a light-skinned dude from like Insecure. He played Nathan on Insecure. Sorry. So he was the one that was portrayed as the young Black man in the video getting shot. They did it in I can't even say tasteful. He got shot. Like, I be trying to be nice, but this is how I feel. Fuck these people. So long story short, they came out basically saying, like, where's the money in so many words. And when we say where's the money, we're talking about Black Lives Matter. So Michelle Kinney posted on Facebook saying, quote, "Some folks have become famous hollering our kids' names and haven't had a conversation with the mother of the person's name." Basically saying that she hasn't really heard anything from Black Lives Matter or any of these top organizers for the Black Lives Matter movement. She goes on to say that she is close to eviction. She's actually reached out to a lot of these people. She said specifically Black Lives Matter and others. So I'm assuming the other people that I'm going to name in a second is who she's talking about that she's reached out to. She says she hasn't received a call back and has been ignored. Again, she's on the brink of eviction, and her son, Antoine Rose Jr., is not her only child. So it's her and other children that are facing eviction right now. Meanwhile, during Lil Baby's performance, Tamika Mallory spoke. She was a part of his performance. She had the platform and got up there and said a nice little, "We are Black," and like black, blickety black, y'all, blick, black, and I'm Black and I'm Black and I'm Black. And it was moving, you know what I mean? But at the same time, we're starting to see a lot of this shit is just words and facade. So let's break it down. So when all this happened and when all this came out, those allegedly, guilty, and by name, we're thinking Shaun King, Tamika Mallory. It's like a slew of names that they've come out and like stated since all of this has happened. They basically got on social media and went on like a press tour. Sean King posted things talking about, you know, how he's innocent, and there was another young lady that was named, oh, sorry, not young, she's not young, an older lady that was named that called them ops and said that like they are enemies, you know, to the movement, and they are being used by the state to dismantle the movement and all this other kind of stuff. And it was a really messed up thing to say. You know what I mean? Like, it was a really fucked up thing to say and to see that, because as a mother, like, I have an 11-year-old son. Tamir was murdered at 12. My son is 1 year away from that, and low-key, he's the size of Tamir now. So it was heartbreaking to see all of these posts coming from these so-called organizers basically bashing these women. And they say it in this nice, politically correct, you know, I'm for the movement, nothing can stop us, I'm all the way up type bullshit. But when you keep it an absolute $1.50, that should not have been the response. You got a grieving mother who was homeless, facing eviction in the middle of a panic, a parallelogram, a pandemonium, a Pixar, whatever you want to call it. And your first response was to run to social media instead of reaching out to these mothers that are grieving and realizing maybe, just maybe, the reason why they took this way is because we haven't answered their phone calls. They went to social media as a resort because she's trying to feed her children. Like, I've been trying to do it the right way. You know what I mean? I didn't appreciate that. I wasn't messing with that. Like, in my head, I immediately put myself in these women's shoes on some empathy and sympathy type shit, which is what these people should be doing, because all Black lives matter, right? If any Black lives matter, those definitely matter. Not saying we matter more than the other, but you're profiting off of the pain that they're having, and they have like nothing. Let's keep going. So there are some people at the forefront of this that are calling them out that are doing a way better job than me. I want to shout out Deshaun LH at Deshaun LH, at Like Fannie Lou, and at Brown Blaze, and also at Raw Wilcox. Her name is Raw, and it's RAWILCOX. We're calling Raw. So, which is what she requested directly from Tamika Mallory. Girl, let me tell you. So, long story short, Raw was tweeting about everything I'm telling you guys about. She was the one that posted the screenshots that I saw from Michelle Kinney. And when she posted the screenshots, this chief, like, coon in charge, what is his name? Roland Martin, starts going back and forth with the girl in defense of Tamika Mallory. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know a lot about journalism. I don't know a lot about a lot of things. But one thing I do know is if anybody is an op of the state, it is Roland Effin Martin. That nigga is a white man. That is Uncle Effin Ruckus. I do tell you. Like, that, oh my God, that man is so anti-Black. They're going back and forth. This is the craziest thing. He invited Raw, onto his show to talk about the allegations against Tamika with Tamika. So what you're saying is this. You're going to offer somebody who stands with the mothers a paid slot on your show to defend the mothers who are broke. Why would you not just pay the mothers to come on your show? That makes absolutely zero sense to me. Why would you not just have the mothers like come on your show? That makes absolutely no sense to me. So I'm heartbroken to see that kind of interaction, because Tamika then jumped in on the thread and she basically was like, you need to come with receipts. You need to come with facts. I'm not directly affiliated with the Black Lives Matter organization, so I don't know why my name is in it, and blase, blase, blase. Again, the thread is on Twitter at Raw Wilcox. It is all out there because Twitter has been a crazy fest of BS because of this, because you got Black people divided on two different sides. Oh, we stand with Tamika and the work that they're doing is amazing. And then you got people that are seeing the truth and the real, that capitalism cannot save us. And that is a harsh truth to have to face, but it's true. It's very, 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 very true. This is how we know capitalism will not save us. Tamika Mallory just her specifically. We not going to even get into Sean King, girl. Sean King would be a whole nother episode. Tamika Mallory, we just gonna focus on that because I just want to focus on this thread between her and Raw because this shit was insane for me to see. She has had a sponsorship with Cadillac where she looked, when I say snatched, girl has style, hair, makeup. She had the whole nine, got a fat ass check. She has also done that appearance at the Grammys we just talked about, another fat ass check. Then on top of that, she's also done The Breakfast Club, other podcasts, speaking engagements on the white and black side, diversity trainings. Like, what baffles me is she not only has the money in her pocket to directly help these women because she has benefited off the backs of the campaigns and the rallies and the protests of these grieving mothers who have lost their children. Not only does she have the money from that, she also has the money from all these fucking sponsorships. In addition to the fact that she could go ahead and put out a call to action. Before you got Twitter fingers and trigger fingers, you could have put out a call to action for these mothers and say, you know what? I too #stand with the mothers. And more than anything to me, what means more than absolutely anything to me is making sure y'all are taken care of. That for me was more telling than anything. That is when I had like a semblance, y'all. I had like a semblance of hope for Tamika Mallory and like, you know, her organization Until Freedom. I had a semblance of hope. Like one small semblance of hope until I seen that thread, because how do Black Lives matter, but in a situation where your name and your credibility is not necessarily being attacked, but you take it that way. These women are grieving. I could not fathom losing my son. I couldn't. And to be honest with you, I'm proud of these women for only doing social media. Because if they had the resources and we were really rallying around these women, they should be getting the speaking engagements. I should see them on CNBC. I should see them on MSNBC. I should see them on BET, which we know they don't care about niggas, but still. I should see these women with these statements everywhere. I don't see them everywhere. I don't. And it's shitty and it sucks because you really could like be there for them. And you genuinely are just choosing not to. And that's what shows the fallacy and the capitalism and the smoke and mirrors mean more to these people than abso-fucking-lutely anything. That for me is the grossest part of it all. Why is that your priority? Why is that what you focus on? Why is that like why? Like, I'm not perfect. I've made mistakes. I've made mistakes now that I'm, you know what I mean, currently paying for. I'll take my L's and be accountable. I refuse to sit there though and make the victim, you know what I mean, turn into the villain. Like, I can't, people that do that are so narcissistic and really need therapy and really need help, because how do you turn this situation into something that's about you? You send in Raw's mentions talking about you want receipts. You send in Raw's mentions talking about you need to stop saying things. You know what? You got Twitter. I got a platform. You know, I got other things I need to be doing. Bitch, you on Twitter. Like what? Like what? It was disheartening. It was really disheartening. So moving forward, all of this has transpired. And again, there's way more to it. Like, don't ever come to the Black Podcast looking for every single detail. This is an opinion show. Like, I'm giving y'all my opinions that are based on what I've seen. And there's so much out there. It would be impossible for me to cover every single thing because Sean King has posted so much fucking Talcum X head ass fucking, like, you know what I mean? Frederick Kuhnless. Like, he has done so much bad. That would be like a 2-hour documentary on its own, because it doesn't even start this year in 2021. It starts way before. But to see like all of this transpire, it's I can't think of another word besides disheartening, because I wanted to have faith in Tamika specifically. You know what I mean? A few days ago on the 27th, Samaria Rice and Lisa Simpson, not Michelle Kinney, but she's Lisa Simpson is the mother of Richard Risher, She stood with Samaria, and they released a formal statement. It's a long formal statement. If you type in on Google Samaria Rice statement, it will pop up as, I think, like the first link. I'm going to give you guys a direct quote. Quote, we released a public statement that expressed our concerns with Tamika D. Mallory, Sean King, Benjamin Crump, which we'll get back to, Lee Merritt, Patrice Cullors, Melina Abdullah, and the Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation to stop capitalizing off of our loved ones, and we call on the people to join our fight for accountability. Y'all, the fact they even gotta do this, I don't even know how, like, I think the segment's over. Like, the fact that they even gotta do this is, like, do y'all see how money make, like, white people, black people turn to white people? Y'all realize capitalism is not like an us thing, right? We just live in it and we have to abide by it because that's the rules of the society that we're a part of. That's not how we used to live in Africa. I refuse to believe it's there now because the white man brought it, but capitalism can't save us, y'all. It can't. Look at what our own people who are so-called leadership is doing to the grieving mothers of the people that were slain in the first place. Y'all, I pray for these mothers. I'm going to continue to pray for these mothers. It'll be more updates, of course. I just wanted to give y'all a gist of what was going on. It is so much and so bad at the same time. I am discouraged. I am fearful. I want to know where the movements of old are. You know what I mean? Not like sitting at kitchen counters and stuff like that, but like, even though MLKJ wasn't perfect and neither was Malcolm X, like, damn, y'all, they wasn't trying to forget nobody, was they? If they was, school me, educate me. I'm always open to learning something. But from what I researched and what I studied, they wasn't trying to, like, profit. They might have been cheating with some white women and, you know, snort a little coke. But to profit off, man, y'all, all right. Let's talk about Black voting rights. Now, as many of you may or may not know, I'm in Atlanta. I'm in Georgia. I want to briefly talk about my experience voting in this past, 2 elections. Biden and then also the one we had to do for Ossoff and Warnock in order to take the Senate. I did participate in both begrudgingly. This is my personal opinion. I think the shit is pointless to vote. Now, before you misconstrue or you run off with that, I still participate in voting because I do understand the social responsibility. It's not just about me. And just in case this shit works, I do want to go ahead and have, you know what I mean, my name in the number, I guess you could say. So don't come at me talking about you didn't vote. I did, bitch. I just didn't want to do it. And I think it's stupid, but I'm going to vote. You know, I'm going to get my little vote in. So when I went to go vote for Biden, it was a little bit more smooth. I'll be honest with you. It was a library kind of close to my house, probably like maybe a mile away. It really is, or I'm sorry, was. Actually, no, that library is still within walking distance of my home. Now, on the flip side, Warnock and Ossoff, baby, when I tell you these white people tried their hardest to not get niggas to vote, I can't say, okay, actually I can say I don't know why. I was going to say I don't know why they moved my location. I do. Voter suppression. Because at first I was like, maybe they moved the location of the voting place to 10 miles away from my home, y'all, during the Warnock and Ossoff campaign. They moved my voting location 10 miles away from my home. I don't have a car. So that means what? I got to take a Lyft or Uber because this place is also what? Not on the bus line. They moved it to a middle school in the middle of like an actual neighborhood where the buses don't run. So you're going to have to like bus in or MARTA in and then walk to the school in order to be able to vote. So that was the first thing. The second thing was there was not a lot of people there at my voting precinct. I actually talked to my neighbors afterward and they were like, honestly, we didn't know where to vote because the last time we voted at the library. This time they had us going to a middle school 10 miles away, and my elderly neighbor who no longer lives across from me but used to live across from me was like, I can't do that. When it was at the library, I was taking like a $5 Uber up there and a $5 back. The Uber ride, I took a Lyft. The Lyft ride for me to go to the voting precinct was $22 both ways. 10 miles, $22 because it was a surge that day. Now, let's get into it. The beautiful thing about it is, at that time, I was broke and still am broke, but Stacey Abrams, her beautiful self, advocated for a lot of us in Georgia. She got 800,000 people in Georgia, her and her team. Applause to them for real, to register to vote. And I bet you the majority of that 800,000 was black as fuck, because that's the majority of people who genuinely just don't vote in Georgia, because we already know it's a red state and the white man's going to do whatever he wants to do anyway, right? So after she did that, she also ended up, I don't even know if it was her. No, it was not her. It was Kerry Washington. She advocated with Stacey Abrams by sending out and partnering with Lyft to give free Lyft codes. Again, I am broke and was broke, so that's how I was able to actually vote that day. They gave like a $50 code, and low key, I wish I was able to spread it more, because you really could have used it to go anywhere, I found out. But I used it to go vote, and it was nobody really there when I went to go vote for Ossoff and Warnock. It was pretty empty. They were handing out snacks. There really wasn't any lines. I went like maybe 11:30, 12 o'clock in the afternoon. So it wasn't packed. It was really quiet, which was odd for me. It was like 3 people in there that were voting, including me. The shitty thing is, now, because black people have come out in such droves, and because black people have taken up and stood up for themselves and used their right to vote, they are suppressing it for the most part. Like, they're literally suppressing it. So let's get into what is going on in regards to this organization called When We All Vote. When We All Vote is an organization that looks like it is loaded with celebrities. Let's run down some of these names. We got Michelle Obama as a co-chair. We got Chris Paul, Faith Hill, Janelle Monáe, Kerry Washington, Lin-Manuel Miranda, Liz Kobe, Megan Rapinoe, Rita Wilson, Selena Gomez, Shonda Rhimes, Tom Hanks, and Tracy Ellis Ross, all just as co-chairs. Y'all, I'm looking at like 3 different lines of people. In addition to them, we also got Alicia Keys. We got Fat Joe, Ava Longoria, Common, Chrissy Teigen. We got Ariana Grande, Aisha and Steph Curry. We got Regina Hall, Regina King, Ryan Reynolds, Shaq, Lynn Whitfield, Issa Rae, Jay Ellis. I could read all these names and go on and on and on. What they did was they came up with a letter, and it was pretty much, kind of calling Americans and calling the Senate and the House to pass a bill that is actually currently on the Senate floor. This bill is entitled the For the People Act. So what the For the People Act does is it's going to try to expand automatic voter registration. And these words are directly from the When We All Vote letter that was written on March 23rd, 2021. So I'm recording this on the 29th. That was literally a week ago today. It's going to expand automatic voter registration. And it's also going to expand same day and online voter registration, which is imperative. Registering by mail still is just so old. This country is just old and outdated. It's just time for a revamping. You can allow for pre-registration for 16 and 17-year-olds, so when they get their license, they are also ready and registered, so when they turn 18, they can vote. Also requiring 2 weeks of early voting for federal elections. We're going to make Election Day a national holiday. That is a very big one. Because if you know, black people don't take off work for real. Some of us got PTO. I understand, baby. You doing a damn thing. Woo, 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 woo. You got your job or whatever. You got PTO. All of us ain't living like that. You working at McDonald's making $8 or $9 an hour and your manager tell you, no, you can't get off today, or you have to work a double. Are you going to leave your job that feeds your family in order to go vote for a white person that has never given a fuck about you except for election time? And that's including Reverend Warnock. No offense. You see what I'm saying? He's done a lot for the community, but just think like on a basic scale. If there's one thing I want you to do when you come to this podcast and you listen to this podcast, think on the most basic level for poor people. I advocate for them wholeheartedly because I am, first of all, one of them. Even though I have my own place and I'm doing okay, I'm not, but I'm stable. Like, you know what I mean? I have to advocate for poor people. So this is not a shot at Ossoff or Warnock or any other politician. This is a capture of like all politicians. Do y'all realize Like, we ain't hearing from them right now. We hear they doing their job in the Senate, and that's great. We don't see commercials anymore about, hey, we're about to pass this Senate bill, or this is what you can do to get this Senate. We don't get that. Our connection to our politicians has literally been minimized to a few days every 4 years. And I know people be like, you can reach out and da-da-da. I don't have to reach out for me to be pandered about my vote. Why I got to reach out for anything else? Politics is not accessible enough. So when you look at people that work at McDonald's, work at, Wendy's, work at these lower end jobs, you know what I mean? And they work and they work and they work, and all they can do is literally what? Work. And now you're telling them they can't take off work to go vote? Do you genuinely think you're going to see a slew of black people walking out of their jobs to go vote? That's not happening. It's just not happening, y'all. This For the People Act would also allow people to vote when they have like a felony conviction, which of course that disproportionately affects minority communities, which they outline in here. It would overhaul our campaign finance system to give ordinary Americans a greater voice in the political process and afford a more diverse array of people the opportunity to run, and ban partisan gerrymandering and discriminatory voter purges, right? So there's more outlined in the letter. It is on Twitter. If you just type in "when we all vote," you can find it there. You can also probably find it on just Googling the "when we all vote" letter, and it'll show up there for you. The great thing about it is they did this letter, and I applaud the letter. I ain't gonna lie, I think celebrities should have and could have and need to be doing more, because y'all make way too much fucking money to not be doing anything, even though they be like, oh, politics is separate. Girl, fuck you. Politics is not separate. Politics can't be separate from celebrity. You know why? They benefit. They literally benefit. There are certain counties that these people live in that have way less restrictions because they're rich and they don't get pulled over. You see what I'm saying? It's all like connected. It's all connected. Let me tell y'all what happened after that. After this, these MRFers in Georgia decide to pass Senate Bill 202. Thank you to the ACLU. Y'all provided a nice, concise, beautiful, gorgeous Twitter thread breaking down what this bill entails. While the For the People Act is on the table in the Senate trying to fight for our right to vote, Georgia specifically, the state that really did swing the election into the favor of the Democrats, has now passed SB 202. It makes it a crime to provide beverages to others who are in line to vote. It disenfranchises most out of precinct voters, which is a lot of people that are black. Those casting provisional ballots inside of their counties, but outside their one assigned polling location. So what I took that to mean is, in my situation, if I didn't go to the specific one place that I was supposed to vote, I wasn't able to vote, which is true overall, from what I understand. It shortens the period to request an absentee ballot. It prohibits government agencies from sending absentee ballot applications to voters. So basically, sending out absentee ballots to voters would be left up to the people. They're literally saying the government does not want you to vote, is really what they're saying. It requires that drop boxes are only available at early vote locations and accessible during voting hours. It creates shortfalls in county election budgets with unfunded mandates. It replaces the State Board of Elections chair with one chosen by lawmakers. So instead of us voting for who is on the State Board of Elections chair, the government, the lawmakers do. It creates shortfalls in county election budgets with unfunded mandates. It makes runoff elections near impossible to administer by holding them just 28 days after general elections. I want to really focus on that part because that directly ties into what I was saying about poor people and getting off work. You telling me that in 2021, January 6th, I would have had to vote for Warnock and Ossoff. Let's say there was a runoff race. In 28 days, I would have to figure out another way to take off work. Mind you, we're not being paid. A lot of us are not getting paid time off to take off work. So that means 2 times in a month span, I'm taking off work to go vote. You're mandating 28 days between. This is so asinine and so wrong. And I'm glad people are using their platform, but I'm really more so ready for regular people like you and me to wake the fuck up. We are under attack. Like, not under attack in a sense of directly like in your face. They about to, you know what I mean, have an all-out war. But these white folks are literally doing whatever they can to suppress our voice. Now, my personal feelings aside about voting, I still find the action and the possibility of voting to be extremely imperative and extremely important, because you're literally telling me my voice does or does not matter because you feel it doesn't matter. You know, I'm frustrated. I'm fed up because they really did sign this into law. Governor Kemp, raggedy ass, who cheated his way into office, by the way. I don't know if y'all remember that. Like, is that still on y'all minds? Do we remember when Governor Kemp stole the election from Stacey Abrams by being the Secretary of State, and he's actually over elections, and he lost, quote unquote, or it was magically not found so many ballots in Georgia when we came out in droves to support that woman because we did not want his ass in office? When I tell y'all, they are showing us, and when I say they, I'm talking about white people. And if I have white listeners, I need you to hear me for what I'm saying. And if you take it personal, you're a part of the problem. But I'm about to give you some raw truth. White people are going to do whatever it takes to keep this country. That's just the flat out basic truth. It's a shitty thing to have to hear and come to terms with, because you really want to be like, oh my God, let's be brothers and sisters. Black lives matter. I know you matter, but I matter right now. The fact we even had to say that tells you all you need to know about this demographic of people. They don't fucking care about us. They never have. And I'm not going to go so far to say they never will, because I don't want to put that on y'all. But I'm not going to lie, that really low-key is how I personally feel. I do not feel like racism in America is going to be eradicated within my lifetime. Look at what they're doing. It is 2021. Rodney King was in like 1990. It's the same shit. Jim Crow happened. Slavery happened. Sharecropping happened. We have time and time and time and instance where they are repetitively showing us, and not only repetitively showing us, but teaching their children. They're teaching their children the same thing. Black people are evil. Black people are lazy. Black people are wrong. All lives matter. We don't hear the conversations going on in their bedrooms and in their homes and over dinner, or when their white children come home and say, my black friend says Black lives matter. What does that mean? And you're literally feeding your children rhetoric that black people don't matter and like all lives matter. And then they grow up thinking that. And then their children grow up thinking. This is generational racism. It's not going to be eradicated overnight. So I really do respect these celebrities stepping up. I'm more so ready for the regular people to step up. And the shitty thing about it is like we're on this hamster wheel as regular people. Because baby girl, baby boy, I know you got to go to work. I know you ain't got time to be protesting and giving your money to organizations like Until Freedom and Black Lives Matter so they can squander that shit. I get it. I genuinely get it. For me, I think the first step is getting back to community. I've taken the steps to like try to get to know people in my complex and build relationships and like be accountable for each other. Because once we lost our sense of community as a black people, and once we stopped realizing that we should be the focus of us because they are the focus of them, and I'm talking about every they and them imaginable that's not black or Native American, because I got a soft spot for them because they stole the fuck out your land. You know what I mean? Until we get that mindset and we get that unconditioning done to realize ain't nobody coming to save us. You can stand next to me, but I know you're not going to save me. You can be my ally, but when you go home, you're white. I'm still black. I'm still black. You can't live this experience. So it's literally up to us to come together and fight for ourselves. These organizations are not going to fight for us. If we want freedom, we're going to have to go and take it, because this fucking bill, this SB 202, 220, 2012, 227, SB 202, bitch, that is a direct attack on minorities. The verbiage, the wording, everything they're doing is literally targeted because of the fact that black people came out and voted. We voted in droves, and these white folks can't stand it. And I ain't gonna lie, it's beautiful to see because we did unite. I think we can do it again and again and again and again and as many times as necessary till we get to freedom, bitch. But at the same time, we got a lot of work to do. We got a lot of work to do. If I was going to say anything, I would say the very first step is reading. I know that sounds crazy, and people are like, reading is fundamental, and it sounds good, and like even No Name with her book club. Reading books has opened my eyes up to so much. There's this thick book I'm working through right now. I'll be trying to do a few pages every now and then because it's 400 pages. It's called The Dehumanization of Black Civilization. When I tell y'all the same shit that they were doing to us back during Jim Crow and slavery and sharecropping is the same shit, but in a different, classier, digital way today. It's just morphed. It's just morphed. We're not free, y'all. I hate to have to be the bearer of bad news. We are more free than what we were because I'm not going to discredit what our ancestors went through because that was way more inhumane. But inhumane is inhumane is inhumane. We're on a less grandiose scale. We're not in shackles. We died in the streets. You know what I mean? They used to throw our babies up in the air and call it gator bait. And shoot our babies out the air. And I'm not trying to be super graphic or bring you down or bring the mood down, but this is the stuff we don't talk about. This is America's dirty little secret. And I feel like it's up to black people to really start learning our history and talking about it more, because even though it hurts to have to deal with and speak about, imagine how it feels to look at it on TV all the time. And you don't have to imagine if you're black because you deal with it. For me, I would much rather we have these honest conversations from black perspectives than out of the pockets of white executives who are portraying our stories, sometimes without our permission, Patti LaBelle, and doing whatever they want to with it. We have to take that control back, but we can't take that control back until we know our history. Please, y'all, I implore you, if you do nothing else, if you don't get anything else from me or this podcast, please pick up a book on Black history. You need to know so you can know what you are fighting. I'm gonna leave it at that. I love y'all like so much. Black, white, yellow, green, blue, and non-black people. I know it sucks to have to hear me say these things. I'm not gonna stop because my goal is freedom for my people. And if I have a voice and I'm using my critical thinking skills and I'm doing the work and the research, it is my responsibility to my people to pass that along and open their minds. And again, I say this a lot. If you don't do shit else when you come to this podcast, I just want to make you think. You don't have to agree with me. You don't have to like what I say. You ain't even got to like me. If you made it this far, you must like me a lot, bitch. But just think, y'all. Just think for yourself. Please think for yourself. Thank you guys so much for watching on YouTube. Please make sure you hit like and subscribe. If you're listening on a podcast platform, oh my God, platypus, plat. If you're listening on a podcast platform, please make sure you hit like, give me 5 stars, leave a comment. Let me know what you're feeling. I love hearing back from my listeners. I love you guys. Have a great week. And remember, it is never, 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 never a bad time to be nice to someone. Have a good week, guys.